So this is my final evaluation of my whole entire project. A few notes I wanted to say that this whole project was crazy, like so badly planned. The scheduling that I did, I didn't follow whatsoever. That was quite poor of me. I did follow a little bit in the first few weeks, but because my motivation went downhill, I kind of had to improvise with a lot of the stuff. I had to cut three of the projects. So I had to cut Jackass, which was supposed to be. I only cut two. I cut Skins, which was supposed to be a techno-based scoring, and Jackass. So if I'm thinking about last year I only managed to do two songs and one demo. This year went much better than last year. I did four scorings. I did Smile, I Saw the TV Glow, Pineapple Express, and Perks Being Wallflower. So if I'm looking at this in like the way I'm looking at last year, I managed to do much more better than I give myself credit for. But I did really wanted to do the techno beat for Skins, but that's something I can do on my own time because I just really enjoy doing that. And this project has really shown me that I really do enjoy making scores for movies. And the Jackass one, to be fair, wasn't a very big scoring. It was supposed to be like an underscore kind of thing, because I wasn't going to have any techniques to put into the Jackass movie because it was just going to be a punk song over them doing stupid stuff. But I kind of did an underscore to Pineapple Express, which I guess is a bit of a failure in itself because it's supposed to have these techniques. So it was supposed to have like action stuff in it, like action like um, an action based scoring. But I ended up you doing a hip hop scoring. Um, but other than that, that was my passion project, and that's the context that I said I wanted to do. I wanted to do stunts. I wanted to do stunt music and stuff like that. So I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't go as well as I hoped it had done. But at least I got it done. At least I did better than last year. And so if I'm doing this in contrast to last year, I did much better than last year than I did this year, except from the organisation. The organisation was very um, not well. I didn't really follow the schedule as well as I wanted to. I only went up to like week four. Um, but even then, it was quite messed around with. And because I've got ADHD, schedule is something that I can work with. But when I'm failing behind, I just feel like I start to panic. So I just start doing something else. Because I feel like I need to do something else, which sacrifices the other stuff, which is why it was so messy. And one of the ways I wanted to evaluate my work was to see other people's opinions on the scorings that I did, but I didn't realise that the scorings that I did were quite long, quite lengthy. Um, two of the people that watched it, because most of the people that I know don't have a big attention span, so I think they just didn't really want to listen to it. All of my friends did actually fill out the form that I put up for it. So my form had stuff like did the smile or I saw the TV glow affect you emotionally? How well did the score fit with the scenes? In your own opinion, did the score of those scenes make you feel intrigued or was it boring? And the reason why I wanted that specifically was because I wanted to know in future if I could use anything I've done in this project in future because I don't want to make something that's boring and I don't want something to make it I don't want to make it like just not very well done. Another scoring was how well do you think I could improve in the scene? Because I wanted them to give me critiques so I could evaluate my own work in that sense. And do you think both of the scores were different in the way it sounds, or and contrasted? So I didn't want people to like listen to the score of one and then go to another scoring of a completely different film of a different genre, and then be like, oh, they sound really similar. They sound the same. Because I wanted this project was supposed to be very different to each different scoring, as I wanted to learn more about different genres, about creating scores for different genres, and I didn't want people to hear my my signature sound in it, which is quite Until the Last Sunflower. So that's why I asked that question. And then, did the score achieve what I hoped for emotionally? And then put in brackets, the smile score was meant to be scary, intense, and I saw the TV glow was supposed to be uplifting, emotional. And then also, did the score achieve what I'd hoped? Oh, I already did that one. Um, and then I put, please tell me in depth so people could tell me more about it. Um, about like my if it had worked. And the final question was between the original scores and this, which one was better for score and why? Um, the so forms didn't really go very well. Um, I had a lot of silly answers from my friends. For example, the answer to my first question, which was, did the scoring of Smile or I Saw the TV Glow affect you emotionally? And if so, why? My friend put, spooked me like a rabbit staring at the wheels of my motor vehicle. And another one was, I was scared and it tickled me the wrong way. So I couldn't really use these answers to properly give me an answer if it worked well. Another answer that they gave me for, in your own opinion, did the scoring of the scene make you feel intrigued or was it boring? Um, yeah, they put, it made me intrigued because I wanted more wobbling in my gooch, which is disgusting. One more. Okay, I'll give you just one more. But they did give me an actual good answer in how do you think I can improve the scene? Obviously, they put one of them put try harder, um, but someone else put maybe a harsh violin with the smile scene because they thought that violin could make it sound better and use more sound effects and redo sound design entirely. That shows me that sound design wasn't as good as I expected it. And the smile scene, they said that could have been less intense because they thought that the scene could have spoke for itself, which is something I really learned for um, in this scoring in this entire project. I've been so interested in making a melody and making it like a song, I completely forgot about the scoring techniques that I need to do for the movies. That doesn't mean I haven't used the techniques. I've used all of them. All the research was perfection. Like the hip hop research was absolutely brilliant. The synth I've used on all of my projects, and so it really did really work. But it was just that I was so focused on making the melody, I simply just went a bit too like massive with the melody, and so in some of the tracks it drowns out the vocals entirely. For example, I just finished the original scoring. I just watched the original scores for all of the production that I've done, and there were a few where I thought I improved and I did better than, which I know sounds really arrogant, but there was loads where I was realizing that. Sorry, there was loads where I realized that I could have done better and I could have given it the time that I should have probably given it. And there was loads where I was like the mixing was wrong, and it was a bit of a disappointment with the way that the vocals were like used in the scene, and not even just the vocals, just everything else. Like the sound design in the scenes are perfect, but because I used like, oh, but because I used YouTube to MP4 converter, and then spliced all of the audio components so that I can only get the vocals. It didn't have the sound design, as in like the sound effects. I mean, in the movie, which really made it feel more empty. Which is something I really want to like fix in the future when I do projects. So that was a failure with the sound effects and sound design. But what I did think I improved on was the smile scene, because the smile scene in the original was much less intense, like so much more less intense. They did say, however, in my Google Forms that could have the scene could have been less intense, and I disagree with that, to be honest, because just like this is supposed to be a very big revealing scene. Like this is the first time the monster's in its true form, and it's horrifying to her. And like I understand the idea of the techniques, of the technique of like having no music, but I used that later on in the score to make it to have like a more of a jump scare. So I think I actually made the intensity of Smile, I think, was better than the original, because I just thought it was like so much more massive and big, and it fit the scene much more better. Because if I was her and I'm seeing this monster for the first time and it's transforming, it's making all these noises, I would be absolutely terrified, and I'd be so confused, and I would be in shock. My heart would be racing, and I feel like I incorporate that a lot into the scene of Smile, which why I disagree with what they've said there. I do think that the scoring for the Perseverance Wallflower was better than the original in some ways. Um, Technique wise, in the original scoring was quite similar to the scoring that I did myself, in the sense of didn't really have a lot of techniques. It was just a lot of like it was kind of like a score, but really not like how it was in Pineapple Express. But I decided to make it so it was like growing, and it was going bigger and bigger as he's like having these emotions and these erasing emotions. So with the scorings that I've done for all of these movies is very metaphoric based, and that was from my Eternal Sunshine scoring. Because I really thought that the scoring of movies should be very metaphoric, and it shouldn't just be music over like under it, which is why I think I went haywire with the scoring of all of these projects, drowning out the vocals a little bit and just making it a bit too big. Like I just was really invested in making the melody how the characters are feeling. And I think that just I just forgot that it's just a movie. It's a movie, and so it kind of like got sacrificed the movie ish. But other than that, I do think that the scoring for First Been Wallflower was better in a sense of metaphoric, because the original scoring was a bit more soft and a bit more like grounded, I'd say. And I want, because like the scene's really disgusting. He's just finding out his aunt did all this stuff to him. I really wanted to make it like so intense, the same way he's having, because he's having a breakdown in the scene, and there's really soft music playing over the original scoring, but that's not what he's feeling. He is literally looking at a knife, debating whether he's going to kill himself, um, and like the panic attacks that he's having are completely valid, and they're supposed to make him feel unsafe, which is why I made it so intense in the scoring, because it's supposed to like replicate him in that way. Um, I also my favorite part of that scoring is when the climax of the police officer opening the door, and we see like a shot of Charlie Young, and that's when the climax is, instead of like um, him finding out about his aunt doing horrible stuff to him. I thought it was interesting to put the climax there, because it really shows that these victims just blamed themselves, and that's why I wanted to use that in that production. So I used a lot of So I did use a lot of research in like the synth stuff, especially in Pertsville Wallflower. Like I did not think I was going to use a lot of synth there. I was actually going to cut Pertsville Wallflower from from these products, but it really did work. Because I got a Roland. I can't remember the name of it. It's a Roland S2 Roland. What is it? Yeah, I got the Roland SH01A, which was so much more of a good instrument to use than like the Tyronel N6. I do love the Tyronel N6. I did actually use a little bit in it, but I just thought like the electronic sound was really really cool, and it really represented like his brain being all fuzzed and stuff. So I think that's one of the things that went well. One more thing I think that went well was the scoring of. I saw the TV glow. It was very metaphoric, the same way the Eternal Sunshine was. It was very heavily inspired by Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. But the effects that I used were very shoegazy, which I did talk about in the proposal slides. Um, so I thought that went extremely well, and that exceeded my expectations. Really, it's like emotionally, it's my personally favorite score because I use the Tylenol N6 synthesizer, and it just really makes it sound so beautiful, but so like catastrophic at the same time. So that scoring, I think, was amazing. So personally, all emotion wise, the whole scoring of each one, except from Pineapple Express, went amazingly well. I think I did really good, and they all of them have contrasts to like genres anyway. We've got a horror movie, we've got a body horror trans um, awareness movie, which is just very like I don't really know any movies like this one. It's very weird and abstract. We've got a comedy action movie, Pineapple Express, and then we've also got um, a teenage coming of age movie, which is supposed to be Wallflower. So all these movies are very different and contrast a lot to each other. Also, as well, they're also very personal to me. Like Pets with Wallflower, I Saw the TV Glow, Pineapple Express, and Smile. Like all these movies are just my favorite, and like I'm so glad I did that rather than like a bad Jackass scoring, which was just going to be like punk and hardcore, because these are like so much more of a personal thing to me. Like I read Perks of an Wallflower, I read the book. I've seen Pineapple Express about a billion times. I used to watch it with my parents, and also as well, Smile. Smile. I watched with all of my friends before like the whole like friend group broke down. So like that's like one of my last memories of that like friend group was hanging around and watching Smile. What was the other school that I did? I saw the TV Glow. I cried watching that movie. Like I saw the TV Glow was incredible. I've got trans friends, and like watching that just was like really like just opened my eyes a bit. And so I loved all of these movies much better than like Skins or um much better than Skins or Jackass, like because it was much more emotional and in depth, which I'm really interested in for music. Like that's my main go-to thing. Just listen to it until the last sunflower, and you'll hear it all. But yeah, so I'm much more glad that I did that rather than the other ones. Something I do wish I did better was the production. No, was the planning and the organization, the mixing. I did use a lot of mixing techniques in the book that my lecturer gave me, but I really do wish I'd spent more time, especially on Smile. Like that had such good elements, but it was just all clamped together, really muddy. And so I'm a bit disappointed in the mixing. I didn't really talk about mixing in my production, which is really weird because I used a lot of it, but really bad wise. Not really bad. I do think it was a little bit of a failure, but I also do think it was uh, good because I found out about like um, cutting down the vocals, you putting all of the synths and instruments into a bus and cutting the frequencies from 6K and then going into the vocal track and increasing those at 6K hertz so that the vocals speak out more. I didn't know that. Did not know that, and so I used that for scoring, and I made it sound better, which I'm glad about. Other than that, um, it wasn't very well done. This was like some of the stuff was going on while I was doing my new album, The Fifth Fibonacci. So I was balancing, mixing, and creating stuff for that album, and also for the scores. So I was kind of bouncing all over the place, and so that did suck a little bit in that sense. But so I do think it was a bit weak, and also the organisation was absolutely horrible. The scheduling just went completely down the drain. I did not follow as much as I wanted to with any of the scoring. Um, those first 4 weeks were a success. I literally hit the markers every single time, but I lost motivation, and there was problems with my Wi-Fi at the boat. But I talk about problem solving that completely messed me up, and it was awful, and I couldn't actually do anything for ages until I got to college. So like it just went downhill. But that wasn't my fault. That's something that wasn't in my control. Um, this project has taken a long time, like a long time, and it's really shown me like organization and just following schedule is needed for, especially when I got to go off to university this year. Like it's needed, and I can't like wait around. I just have to do it myself because I'm 18 now. When I started this, I was 17, but you know it's just a few months ago, and there's a lot has happened in this um, this project. Like lot of stuff has like changed in a sense of like you know learning about frequencies, learning about mixing, learning about this music production, and so it's been a really good um, final project before I leave and go off to uni because this has also inspired me to do sound design and music production in university when I was just going to do contemporary music. So this has really, paved my direction for where I want to go from here. And I'm so glad I did this, and I think it was a positive on the whole. Like I didn't do as much as I wanted to, as shown in the context. But I also managed to beat my record of last year of doing stuff, and much better like mix because last year's mix of all of the songs were terrible. I did not like them, but they were supposed to sound bad. But looking back at it now, they are awful, absolutely atrocious. Um, so this year showed that I've learned a lot, and I'm so glad I could combine my love for films and music and put it into one. And I'm so proud of this project because it's really made me feel like I can do whatever I want in music, really. So this has been my project. Thank you to Andy and Ian for um, everything to do with like this music course. It's been absolutely amazing. Can't wait to go to university. That's my yeah, that was my scoring for everything. Hope you enjoyed the music.